Coming up on this episode of Common Denominator.
If you use these really powerful tools and medicines with intention, you're going to receive a lot. And what I believe they're so powerful is because they open us up to what is truly possible.
Hi, and welcome to Common Denominator, where we shine a light on people striving to make the world a better place. Today, an expert in holistic healing who can help you feel at peace physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Kyle Reteff is the founder of Holistic University, where he uses a broad set of modalities to help people break through their traumas and heal their minds, bodies, and souls. Kyle and I just finished our conversation, and what really struck a chord, no pun intended, is when we talked about the benefits of sound therapy, and he actually had some tuning forks and the effects through Zoom, the effects it had on my body. Really amazing. Now, here's my conversation with Kyle Reteff. Enjoy. Hi, Kyle, and welcome to Common Denominator.
Thank you, Moshe. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, and really nice to have you on the show.
Yeah.
So I always love the idea of holistic. Holistic kind of encompasses the entire being, the entire body. And you have a university called Holistic University. So let's go to the basics of the modalities of your university, kind of the protocols that you implement.
Pretty much all modalities that I can really like. I think Chinese medicine is the main foundation of everything. Like, it is the one medicine that truly blew my mind. I have a background in body work and massage therapy. I did a 2,000-hour program, holistic nutrition. I went to India to study Ayurveda. But it was when I started studying Chinese medicine and acupuncture that I was just like, and like, it's the anatomy is completely different than Western anatomy. Like, we have our bones, we have our muscles, nervous system, and then Eastern anatomy is like energy channels and meridians, and like this, the organs have their, each organ has an emotion, and like, press here and it's going to affect somewhere completely different. And it's so studying acupuncture and not really knowing, I remember I biked to school one day, I was in Toronto. My eyes were all red. The pollen was getting me, and I was all puffy and swollen and sweaty and stiff from the weather. My fast bike to school, and then I took a microsystems class, and the teacher just put a needle in the top of my head and really stimulated it, and all of a sudden my eyes got white, my puffiness and redness went down, my sweating stopped, and my stiffness went away. And this happened in seconds, and I was like, whoa, like, this is the real deal. Like, this is crazy. And so I completely fell in love with Chinese medicine.
Why do you think, just from your journey in America, in the US, that Chinese medicine, because you have over 1 billion people, right? And maybe even in countries such as Russia and Germany, kind of different protocols, but yet in the US, right? In the US, we're not embracing those even older systems of treatment. Why do you think that is?
I mean, it's a bit suppressed. Like, when Chinese medicine came over here, like, the main guys were sitting down with like the Rockefellers, and they're like, you can teach, like, there's like traditional Chinese medicine, which is what we teach. And then there's classical Chinese medicine, which is even more powerful. But like, even with politics and stuff in the East, like, Qigong is suppressed in China because of what people can cultivate with the power of breath and movement and intention. Like, I seen this guy here named Master Li in China. He's like a 5th generation Kung Fu master who's also a healer. And like, I went to see him, and a lot of people in Toronto who have seen him talk about him and know about him. He's like, he goes over you and he's just like, and then he, like, his fingers are electric. Like, he's pulling these energies out you. He's like, I'm going to heal all past traumas, present traumas, whatever. But when he touches you, it's like literally electric. Like, and he pulls it and it hurts. Like, and that's just from him. And I asked him, like, how do you do this? He's just like, Qigong. like medical qigong. And he's like, oh, you're an acupuncturist, and he put a needle in me, and then he put the electricity through the needle. And acupuncturists today use e-stim to do that, but he was just doing that by cultivating energy. And he's like, my master does it through the air. Like my mentor doesn't even need to touch you. He can do it through the air. And so, yeah, I thought that was pretty fascinating.
Tell us, what's the general idea about acupuncture? What's the for people that don't know?
Self-healing. Like you put a needle in the body, a place that so you palpate the body and you find a spot that is really tender, or like a spot on the leg called stomach 36, for example, which is the command point of the stomach. Some texts say that it can help produce stomach acid. So you put a needle in there, it'll boost the stomach, it'll boost the spleen, and it brings healing to the area. And then this point specifically, it's called leg 3 miles, Susan Li. And they say in ancient China, like you can walk another 3 miles back in the dynasty days. So like during the wars, they would look for people with scars in this area for moxa, because they knew they were a little tougher and could do more stuff. But it brings self-healing. It's like automatic. Like you put the needle in the body and the body's like, oh my God, there's like something foreign in there. And then it'll send all these healing responses to it. And so it teaches you how to self-heal yourself by, there's a foreign object in the body. The body's going to have its healing response. The area gets out of homeostasis and the body's like, okay, like it creates an inflammatory response, and the healing begins in that area. And when you hit these specific points on these channels, or even speaking in Western words, like you hit a trigger point where the muscle spindle is all stuck, you can unravel that and basically reset the muscle and open up the length to it. You can hit the motor point, so it like activates the nerve, and it'll like get the muscle firing again if it's not activating. So there's just like so many different things it does, really.
I think that's amazing. And I know also, which I've actually tried a couple of years back, you one of your modalities is sound therapy. Tell us about that.
Well, I love combining acupuncture with the sound, because the person's like, already there's more chi flowing, and then there's these specific vibrations that hit the body that just induces a healing response. And for instance, I brought some tools here. So this is 528. This is called the love tuner, and this is the frequency of the heart of love. So it's and people use this for anxiety, and you try to like blow it as long as you can, and it helps calm the breath and bring you present. But also the 532 and the vibrations are like, it affects the heart. These are really big tuning forks. My buddy makes these. It's called Earth Tune, but this one is 216. It's third eye, and so it's not just the sound too, it's the vibration. So you hit it. Usually it'll drop you in, you're like, whoa. And then like you press it, and then these vibrations go through the body, and it just creates so much harmony inside the body. If you ever seen like water or sand with frequencies like on a plate or something, and there's certain frequencies, like for instance 432, which all instruments used to be 432 back in the day, and that creates patterns and sacred geometry and harmony. And then they switched to 440, and it does not have the same effect. So there's these certain frequencies that affect us and create beautiful harmony in the body and healing, and have induces specific healing responses, and some frequencies don't. But using these sound tools in conjunction with other therapies, like I absolutely love. Like I just bought this flute back from Peru. Can I play for a second?
Sure. Yeah.
This one's the third eye. So this one's 432, which is like a really powerful healing frequency.
If you're just joining us, you're listening to the Common Denominator podcast. My guest is holistic healing expert Kyle Reteff. Next week, I'll be jumping back into the guest chair. My good friend Dave Azer will interview me about fatherhood. As the father of 10 kids, I've pretty much seen it all. And while I'm not an expert, I do have plenty of stories, anecdotes, and advice for all you parents out there. We're going to have a lot of fun. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Now, back to the show. I had a good friend that said that in this world, as humans, we are pretty much frequency and vibration. So I can resonate with that. You know, it's like you break down the atom and you go down further. You know, it's like when the heart stops, what do? You give an electric pulse, right, to restart the heart. Frequency, vibration, right? So kind of makes sense. And I know there's big awareness now. Every month, I see in the news about psychedelics and right, and ayahuasca, and I see even big pharma is doing some research in that space and startup biotech. What do you see, whether it's ayahuasca, ketamine, or the different variations, mushrooms of different psychedelics? What do you see the value in that is?
I think psychedelics is probably one of the most important things I've ever done in my life. I've been using them for quite some time, and I found my purpose in life at an ayahuasca ceremony. I've done such deep healing using plant medicines and ketamine with intention. And the secret is intention, because in order to achieve anything, you intend on it. This is how Einstein became E=mc squared. He came up with that. It's how Newton came up with his laws. It's just intending on something for a long time. So if you use these really powerful tools and medicines with intention, you're going to receive a lot. And what I believe they're so powerful is because they open us up to what is truly possible and what is truly there. They take away this background that normally that's just there in our normal consciousness and our normal everyday life. And then when you take these powerful substances, you notice more and you feel more and you see more and you understand more. And you're just not the same after, because you understand so much more. It's like, I heard this analogy yesterday. It's like, you climb to the mountaintop and go back down, or you can just look at the mountaintop, but you see more from the mountaintop. But even you're both back down, you have that understanding of what you see from the mountaintop. And that's kind of like what plant medicines are. So if like someone is really depressed and ketamine is a really powerful antidepressant, it can just rewire the brain. So they're like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing?
Right.
I like, what am I doing with my life right now? And then it's like, they realize my life is my responsibility and I only have one life. Like, what the am I doing? And then boom, like that clicks. It's like a light switch. Boom. And then all of a sudden, epiphany, life is changed. And it's like psychedelics have the power to give you that understanding like that. And these are like the most transformational moments, because once you understand that, you can't not understand that.
And I was reading about your mission from your website, and you're ready to break the cycles of their trauma and tap into the depths of their being. What does that concept mean? Because that seems like your whole why or your whole mission. Why is that concept important, and what does that mean?
Well, I'm writing a book right now called You the Master, and it's basically that. It's like people realizing that they can be the master and that they are the master. And as I said with the little psychedelic spiel that I just had, like, your life is your responsibility. So if you take action and actually realize this and be like, okay, like in order to have peace, I need to forgive. I need to communicate. I have to stop holding grudges. I have to do the work. Stop eating this food, like go to bed at these right times and have some discipline for myself. And if I do these things and get some more clarity and start following my heart and my passions and set some boundaries, then I will be so much happier and my life will be so much better and I will be able to service humanity so much more. And like just realizing that your life is your responsibility and then taking action to take control of that, in essence, that's all it is. Because then once you start on that path, then you realize the work that you need to do and you know what you need to do. And all you need to do is do it. And that will bring you happiness. Like the biggest predictor of happiness is progress. So once you start making progress, you're going to be happier. And I just want people to realize their own potential because anyone can do it.
It seems to me that we have in society a big mindset, mostly the youth, but a lot of this kind of victimhood, like kind of to your what you're saying. And I see people just when they shift to a mindset of gratitude and low expectations of others outside of themselves, there's just this daily, because you live with yourself, there's daily happiness. Kind of to your point, take responsibility of your own life, and if you're saying that psychedelics can help that, I think that's a positive thing, right? To kind of take responsibility of your life, and I know a big part of what you do, whether in person or online, is you also train other people to do what you do, right? To heal people. Mm-hmm. How is that journey? Training people, and why do you like to do that?
I want to make a bigger impact, and I feel like I can treat X number of people a day, or I can teach people to do what I do, and it's hard to find a good practitioner. Like it is really hard to find a good practitioner. Like I graduated massage school at a 60 people. There's maybe 3 people I would pay for a treatment. And acupuncture school, like some people are scared to use the needle and like that fear goes through. So I just want to make a bigger impact, and I want to have more people that are like, passionate and playful and ready and like just super open and just here to make this world a better place. And like not scared to, they want to do this. I want to find people that are like just so passionate that they want to do the same thing as me. And I feel like the impact can be so much greater if I'm teaching other people to do it rather than just doing it myself. And we can just, keep sharing and keep growing. And yeah.
I agree. I heard a wise quote once. The only way to have true success that's sustainable is through effective team play. So you must have strengths and weaknesses of lots of people, good people that are, the same kind of high level ideals. So I happen to agree with that. But I want to go back to like your original journey because it really inspires me, honestly. So you were so you kind of grew up in foster care. Was that?
I didn't grow up in foster care. I ended up in foster care at one point in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was, and some substance abuse as well when you were younger?
I mean, I started smoking weed and cigarettes at 11. I started using psilocybin at 11. Yeah, I don't know. I was pretty heavy into drugs pretty early. Like I used it to numb stuff out, and I used it like just to not feel, and I felt good using it. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like sometimes you don't want to feel like when I finally became sober-ish at 25, that's when I truly started to feel all my traumas, and it sucked. Like it's so painful, and like everything just hit me. Everything I've been suppressing, all the abuse, all of the and it just, it's almost like taking the easier road of just hiding from it. But once you face it head on, that's when your true healing comes.
And then I guess how you got into the space that you're in is there was this moment in time, there was this shift. Was it from what I read, there was an ayahuasca ceremony, your first ceremony. I guess that was the turning point for you.
Uh, yeah, I used to be in the military from 19 to 23, and I had a 14-foot fall, like, which was pretty crazy. I was free falling through the air, looking at the sky, and I was like, oh wow, like I'm gonna die right now. Like I fully accepted death and had a DMT release, life flashed before my eyes, and I made peace with life. I was like, it was a good life. Like I'm happy with my life. And I was 22 when this happened. I hit the ground and I was in shock. I was still alive, which was crazy. And then the military helped me get back into work. So they helped me pay for school. And they're like, I did this vocational rehab program, and they're like, you can do this, or RMT. And in Canada, it's like a 2,000-hour program where we learn a lot of anatomy. And I was like, oh, I don't want to massage people for a living, but I do want to learn the anatomy. So anyway, 6 months in, I end up going to this ayahuasca ceremony, and the shaman laid out a bunch of cards, and I was becoming spiritual at the time. I was in so much back pain, like I could barely walk. And I chose the card that I was eyeing up and no one else took. It said healer. And I was like, that's weird. But when we got there, everyone said why they're there. And my intention was, I want to have a relationship with God, and I want to figure out balance in my life. And then right after I said, I want to have a relationship with God, I took this healer card. And then the meaning of it, when I read the book, it said, God works through you as a healing angel. You have healing abilities. Everything is divine and perfect order. And I was just like, whoa, like I just got my purpose in life. Like, it could have been just a piece of cardboard or whatever, but like, I was like, what are the chances of like me being in the school I didn't really want to be in? And like all these, I had crazy synchronicities leading up to that moment. And then it's like, I want to have a relationship with God. And then it's like, boom, God works through you as a healing angel. Like, and it says the healer card. So I'm like, and a year before that, I'm like, Mom, I think I'm supposed to do something with my hands, when I was talking to her. So I don't know, just all these crazy synchronicities were happening. And I was just like, I guess I took the calling. So from that moment, I dedicated my whole life to being in service of humanity, and just spent 5.5 years straight of just studying all kinds of holistic modalities. And because Western medicine like did not help me at all. Because the years leading up to that point, I was getting CAT scans, MRIs, seeing doctors, chiropractors, physios, acupuncturists. Nobody could really help me. And then eventually I learned how to help myself after years of study and trial and order.
So how did you do that? How did you, with all these new tools that you had, what do you use to heal yourself?
A lot of meditation and visualization, physical therapy, yoga. The ice baths really helped. Like I was doing like physical therapy and yoga and like seeing chiropractors and stuff before, and it wasn't really helping me. And then I kind of figured out the right exercises to do that was actually bothering my back. But like this book called The Secret Language of Your Body by Ina Segal.
Yeah.
And it literally talks about each specific ailment and all the emotions related to it. And like it hit so well. And it was so like, it was just so on point. And I was like, wow. And like, I do deal with these victim mindset kind of things. And once I like learned to switch my language and focus on different things and actually tap into like the why, like the true root cause, the secret story you tell yourself, like that secret story that keeps you sick. Once I was able to identify these things and start doing the work on those, then that's truly when I was able to take control and release this from my life.
What would you tell somebody, they've just been spending years, in either physical or emotional pain, and they truly want to heal? What would you say kind of an action plan? Like, where would they start? They just realize whatever they've been doing hasn't worked. What would be a good plan for them?
Oh, that's a tricky question because it's so subjective and open. But I mean, I would recommend that book by Ina Segal, honestly. Like, if they're like, I've been seeing all these people and they're not helping, like, then yeah, I mean, do you meditate? Like, what do you do for your spirit? What do you do for your mind? What are you on autopilot throughout the day? How much time do you spend on your phone? Like, what's your dopamine like? Like, because, it's
It was
every
interesting.
time oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just saying on the meditation piece, super surprised. And I would never thought I would hear this from uh, uh, someone who's running to become president. But RFK Jr., he said that his practice in the morning, and he's been doing this for 40 years, and not that I'm promoting one person over the other, but was that he goes out to the wilderness every morning and he meditates. And he's like, I must do that every day. He's like, I do that. That is my definition. That's who I am. And I am a big believer in some sort of process, right? Because, or I guess you want to call it spirituality or some sort of relationship. The reason why I'm a big proponent of that, and it's not anything, would say, different than organized religion, but at least when times are good, then you could look at yourself, the I, the ego. But when times are tough, right, it's like you got to put that weight on something greater than yourself. It's not about you, right? So I always think like that's a good framework for people to be able to heal. It's a healing modality, in a way. So, so what's something that comes to you in this moment that you're deeply grateful for?
I mean, life itself, just like being here is such a gift. And I think we live in the most exciting and interesting times ever as well. Like there's just so much available to us. Like I have more information in my hand than the president did 4 years ago. It's just like, there's just so much available to us and we have so much opportunity. It's funny that there's more depression than ever right now, but I'm just grateful for the opportunity that life has presented. And yeah, just being able to have a roof over my head, being able to eat, being able to connect with people, being healthy, being able to run, being able to breathe fresh air. I love the journey. Like I love the journey. I used to rush all the time and trying to get to the destination. And then one day I realized like the journey is the destination. And
I love that, by the way. I love that. And that is a healthy mindset. That's because enjoying the journey, because that's all we have. That's actually all we have. So I definitely appreciate that. How could people learn more about you?
My Instagram, Holistic University, or my website, holisticuni.life. Most information is on my website, holisticuni.life. There's like an About Me section. And that's probably where they could learn the most about me, is the About Me section.
Thank you so much, Kyle. It was really, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure. Hope
you enjoyed my conversation with Kyle. Next week, my guest will be yours truly. That's right. I'm hopping back into the guest chair where my good friend Dave Azer will interview me about fatherhood. If you don't already know this about me, I have 10 kids. So being a father is pretty much an additional full-time job. We'll discuss what I've gotten right, what I've gotten wrong, and how my experiences can hopefully help all you parents out there. Please subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode, and follow me on social media at Popack. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon.